This is the World Canoe Marathon Championships in Bergen in Norway. 32 countries represented from all four corners of the globe. The SA team consisted of 14 paddlers. Hello everyone, I'm Arnold Gantz, and joining me the SA team manager Steve Jordan as we look here at the parade and the lineup as they get their accreditation. Steve.
The team's just received their accreditation at Bergen Airport. We've got the vuvuzela being blown loud and clear. We see the team boarding their bus as they go towards their accommodation in Bergen. P&O Ned Lloyd, who brought our boats over to us, having to break our way into the container to get the boats.
But South Africans are good at that, aren't they?
We are not shabby when it comes to that. Hans Pilsner, one of the major sponsors who assisted us in the tour. Bergen, beautiful city. Fortunately, the team had a chance to do a little bit of sightseeing the day we arrived and managed to see the sights of Bergen, a city that's over 1,000 years old. We took them up the mountain that overlooks Bergen and got a tremendous view of the course and the surrounding area. As you can see, plenty of fjords and a lot of activity happening in town for this special event.
Lots of anticipation, obviously few butterflies flying around too in anticipation of the race.
The opening ceremony now starts, tremendous pomp and ceremony, and the South African team all sitting there, as you say, in great anticipation.
And of course, for the World Championships, I think the volume is turned up just a little. We sometimes don't realize back here in South Africa how big this event is.
It's huge. I mean, this is the apex of marathon canoeing in the world.
And the South Africans being introduced.
They certainly knew South Africa were in Bergen, I can promise you. This is Bergen, the beautiful royal palace where the event was held. You can see the blue line is the 4-kilometer first lap we had to do, and then the yellow line being the 8-kilometer course. Seniors doing 36 Ks and the juniors doing 21 kilometers.
The lineup for the junior K1 men as they started off, and young Holtzhausen from South Africa, certainly one of the favorites. The Great Britain contingent also very strong, and young Paul Wycherley was the one man that they'd all be looking out for. We caught up with young Erhard Joubert from South Africa before the race started.
I'm a little bit nervous. I don't know what to expect. I'm just going to go out there and give my best. I know Benjamin Brown is here. He came from England. Last year he won the Worlds, so he must be strong. And I think Mark Holtzhausen from South Africa is also going to be very strong.
I'm feeling pretty good. Just been up for my warm-up. It's a little bit humid out there. It's going to have to take on lots of fluids, and it's going to be a hard one.
Well, Steve, that's obviously the whole point of World Championship meetings like this. The youngsters knew they had to have their work cut out for them.
This is when the nerves are really starting to bite in. And at the start, tremendous start by all of the juniors. Very, very strong sprinting ability by all these young men. And you can see that incredible pace as they go into the start.
The junior women, and they preparing for their course of just over 20 Ks, and young Taryn Brown, the South African representative there.
And Stephanie from Italy, also one of the very, very strong contenders, who really is one of the hot favorites for this race.
Quite clearly, it's a good thing for the juniors to go off, as we see the young junior ladies here just 3 minutes after the junior men. It's a good thing for the juniors to go off and experience this kind of pressure cooker pressure, isn't it?
Tremendous. Obviously, the Europeans have a huge advantage over us as they have a couple of World Cup events where they all compete, whereas we arrive there fairly raw for the World Championships.
Here are the junior men arriving at the first portage, led by South Africa's Mark Holtzhausen and Paul Wycherley from Great Britain, and Øyvind Solberg, as well as Benjamin Brown, the other great British representative. Mark
Holtzhausen had the most tremendous first lap. As you can see, in with that front group and doing a tremendous portage. Now at the end of the 150-meter portage at the put-in.
At that same time, the first of the junior ladies arriving as the young men make their way up that ramp and start on the first of their long laps, the big laps in other words.
Already we see Stephanie from Italy already starting to dominate the race, out the water first and having a very, very good portage over there. Very strong paddler and a very, very strong runner as well.
So then Stefania Cicali from Italy, the leader in the women's junior race, and Tegan Fraser from Australia chasing hard. Those Aussies are everywhere.
Yeah, we have the second group coming through with Taryn Brown doing very, very well. and having an excellent portage as she approaches the put-in to start her long lap.
Chased by Spain's Ana Belén Lopez. At the front of the junior men, it was Mark Holstausen still setting the pace, Wishley from Great Britain and Solberg Jr. from Norway hanging in for all they were worth. Cicali from Italy setting the pace in the women's junior race and also doing a fine job of that. Fraser in the colours of Australia, working hard in the boat there.
Yeah, coming second overall, a very, very good finish for her. And then the third and fourth ladies coming home as well.
Medvecchi from Hungary and Hegei also from Hungary, so the two teammates are working with each other there.
With Taryn Brown pulling very, very hard in the second batch.
And that was exactly the same case as the junior men found themselves at that point on their way to the finish, and Wishley from Great Britain in the front, Vincent Lecroubier from France in the second place, and Solberg in the third, and Holzhausen right there at the back of the diamond, also waiting for his opportunities. A large group at the front there, and again, I would imagine that the South Africans would have learnt a lot from racing like this.
They have Mark Holzhausen over there working hard on the diamond, and Mark had a tremendous race. As you can see, he stayed with that leading pack all the way through until we got into this last lap.
And with respect, it's not often in the junior races in this country that they get to finish in a bunch like this, as close to the finish line as what this was.
But you'll notice now in this last kilometre of the race, that bunch breaks up very, very quickly.
So a very fast sprint finish here, and the man, one of the favourites, started at the beginning of the race, was from Great Britain, Paul Wishley first, Vincent Lecroubier from France second, and Solberg from Norway in the third place. 21 kilometres covered in 91 minutes.
Yeah, I just wanted to hang back and let other people do the work and try and just lead it into the portage and into the bridge, have a nice clean run through there. And on the last lap, I'd make an attack. In the end, I made my attack with 7:50 to go and paid off, you know.
And now to go back to find the winner from Italy on her way steaming to the finish line with a huge advantage of almost 2 minutes, Stefania Cicali from Italy. What a phenomenal race by her.
Unbelievable, finishing the course in 98 minutes.
Sono contenta.
She's happy to be first in marathon because a lot of efforts in training are then prized by this position.
Young Miss Cicali's dad doing the translations. Well, a fine race by Wishley, but Holzhausen and Joubert of South Africa finishing just outside the top 10. A huge victory margin for Cicali, and a fine performance too by South Africa's Taryn Brown in the 7th place.
Get your September issue of Men's Health magazine and stand the chance to win 70,000 rands worth of stuff. Men's Health, the magazine men live by. On sale now.
Our look at the World Canoe Marathon Championships in Bergen continues.
With the best weather that Bergen have had in the last 5 years. 5 days of sunshine and great racing.
Here are some of the men in the lineup for the K1. Young Sean Rubenstein from South Africa, and Uduzi Canoe Marathon winner and Stott also in there.
Manuel Basto has got to be the hot favourite for this race after being disqualified last year.
This is very important, this World Championships, because last year no gold medal because in the lanes, in the finish lane, the disqualification of the committee of competition, and it's very important for me this day. No, it's very important the gold medal. No?
Of course it is important, and that's why they were all there, all chasing the gold.